Hi, I'm Robert,
And I'm Henry.
and we're just two
Two
guys.
And this is our big sports show. Woohoo! What's happening?
Congratulations to the Lady Bruins of UCLA for winning the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship.
Sweet.
It was building. It was a 4-year run. They kept getting better and better, and they truly were the best team in the NCAAs this year. Congratulations to them. Next year is going to be exciting because there's going to be a lot of teams really good. LSU, UConn, USC, and
Go Trojans.
the Lady Gamecocks of South Carolina. So next season is going to be very exciting. Congratulations to the Michigan Wolverines men's basketball program for winning the NCAA championship. Congratulations to them. And congratulations to the Final Four participants. It was an exciting game. Really, Michigan did what they needed to do. They were, to me, the team that was the odds-on favorite as soon as Duke got booted out.
Boo, Duke.
So,
Boo.
so congratulations to Michigan on their championship. And
where we headed now? Are we going to talk about hockey?
We're going to talk about hockey.
All right, then. We're both Caps fans, and we're excited for. We were excited for the season. We had our ups and downs, but we're moving on. We're hoping that Ovi comes back, not for just 1 year, but for 2. It'd be great if he that 1,000 goal mark.
Yeah, that's my wish.
That's my wish too. And it's baseball season. Back in baseball. What can I say? Again, we're Nats fans too. Season just started. We got a long way to go. So let's see how things go.
I'm a Nats fan, but I'm not typically a diehard baseball fan. I find baseball very boring. And until September arrives is when I start to really pay attention. But I will keep everyone informed.
We'll keep you informed.
We'll keep you informed.
But yeah, we're looking forward to the end of the season, the World Series especially.
And how about the WNBA draft?
How about those ladies?
How about the Lady Bruins with 7 first-round draft picks? 7 first-round draft picks.
Wow.
Which shatters the record of 5, which was held by UConn. I'm actually kind of surprised by that. I only felt as though Lauren Betts and their point guard, Jaquez, were the 2 most viable players on that team that were guaranteed in the top 5, in my opinion. Other than that, the role players, I didn't expect them to go as high as they did. But congratulations to those ladies and the Bruins for 7 players represented in the first round of the WNBA draft. My Washington Mystics ended up taking Lauren Betts from UCLA. She's a 6'7" champion. And I think that is going to be huge for Washington drafting her. Washington hasn't had a big scoring lady since Elena Del Don. And I think Lauren Betts, who can shoot the 3, she can pass, she can post. I think that brings back that element to Washington, which vaulted them to the WNBA championship years ago.
That was is Belladonna still playing?
No, Elena Del Don is retired from the WNBA.
Wonderful player. All right, we're going to talk NBA playoffs. And man, there's a lot going on. Robert, there's a lot going on. Let's talk.
Well, currently, we're well into the NBA playoffs. The playing games have already finished. So currently in the West, we have the Thunder versus the number 8 Suns. And currently the Thunder are leading 1-0. I actually really don't think the Thunder are going to be impeded by anybody. I think they're going to steamroll through the Western Conference. Everybody's like thinking, Denver,
they're going to repeat?
Minnesota. No, I think barring any major injury, I think OKC is going to steamroll through the playoffs and be representing the Western Conference in the NBA Finals. Yes. The Lakers now hold a 2-0 lead over the Houston Rockets. The Nuggets are tied with the Timberwolves at 1-1. And the Spurs, which I did watch that game last night, Victor Wembanyama was injured. The extent of the injury, I'm not aware of currently.
That's going to affect them.
And that could affect them. That definitely hurt the Spurs last night with no presence in the middle and no mismatches on the floor. Portland escaped with a 106-103 victory, I believe, but Portland escaped with a win in San Antonio, and now the series shifts back to Portland.
Let's talk East.
So now we have the NBA and the Eastern Conference. And the number one Pistons are leading the Orlando Magic 1-0. I don't see the Pistons losing this series. Actually, it's Orlando that leads the series 1-0. But I still don't see the Pistons losing this series. We have the Cavs who are controlling the Toronto Raptors right now. They're up 2-0. The Cavs' success is going to be based on James Harden, whether he's going to play defense or not.
And his magic beard.
And I'm not a James Harden fan. I've always been really critical of him. He's a narcissistic diva, and everywhere he goes, teams majorly underwhelmed.
Let's talk about the Celtics Sixers.
Well, the Celtics and the Sixers.
Come on, Celtics.
I forgot to write down their record.
We're 1-1.
They're 1-1, and it's surprising to me that they are that. The Sixers, to me, are a mess. But anyway, that's another subject for another day.
Let's go Celtics.
The Knicks and Hawks right now are tied 1-1. The Hawks stole game 2.
Stolen.
And I think that's going to be an interesting series. But out of the Eastern Conference, I have to lean on the Celtics right now to win the Eastern Conference. The Pistons are the number 1 seed, but I do believe the Celtics, with their playoff experience and their veteran leadership, and with Jason Tatum coming back and getting stronger and playing better every game, and allowing other players to play before Jason Tatum came back, allowed them to get valuable experience, which gives my feeling the Celtics an edge in the Eastern Conference.
A better rounded team.
So I do believe it's going to be the Thunder and the Celtics in the NBA Finals. And I still think the Thunder win it in a 7-game series.
I think Celtics will.
So that's all we got right now for basketball. We're a Wizards fan. I'm a Wizards fan. And they've done some really interesting stuff towards the end of the season, trading for Anthony Davis, trading for Trae Young, shutting both of those players down for the most part. And let's get them healthy. Let's get them mixed in with these young players. Washington looks like what OKC did 5-6 years ago, amassing youthful talent, trading for Shea. And I think this is similar. Washington trading for Trae Young and Anthony Davis, similar young talent, Alex Sarr, Keshawn Johnson, a lot of players, a lot of young talent. I like what the Wizards are doing, and I'm officially a Wizards fan, and I'm looking forward to the future with these all-star players and with the influx of youthful talent.
I just don't want them to suck.
I'm tired of it too. They did have the worst record in the NBA. They are the odds-on favorite for the number 1 pick. But then again, the 3 worst teams last year ended up getting 4, 5, and 6. And how the hell does Dallas and San Antonio get 1 and 2? I don't know. I think it's a sham. But this is also a very deep draft coming up in the NBA. There are legitimately 7 players who could be picked at number 1, and there could be 7 teams who legitimately draft a number 1 player at 7 because the other teams drafted the other 6 players. There are legitimately 6 players in this draft that could be considered for the number 1 pick. And it's a deep draft. So even 2, 3, and 4, you're getting a player who can be a big impact player for the team.
Okay. All right.
So I'm excited for that. We'll see what happens.
Let's just hope they don't suck, because it's just horrible.
And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say this because I want it on record.
You think I'm going to say something?
I really think that the Washington Wizards are going to make it to the NBA Finals next year. Yeah, go ahead and laugh.
I can't laugh.
Let me just tell you why.
I just think you're high.
I think it makes poetic justice. The Wizards have been garbage for decades.
Garbage.
And wouldn't that be a Cinderella story?
Not going to happen. I'm sorry to say.
It won't happen. Until it happens, it's still possible. I'm saying the Washington Wizards are going to be in the NBA Finals next year. Put that down. Bet on it. Whether they win or lose, I can't tell you. But it's going to shock the NBA.
I'm not going to say anything shocking. I'm just going to say I don't want them to suck. Maybe they'll get a playoff spot.
15-32 is my
Maybe.
prediction, barring major
Maybe.
injury. But of course, Anthony Davis is like a China doll,
They're not
and
going-
Trae Young
they're not going to.
is like a skeleton. So let's hope that they can stay healthy. But my pick is NBA Finals for them next year.
Not going to happen, but I like your enthusiasm.
But you never know until it doesn't.
All right, let's talk draft. It's exciting. We're almost 24 hours away from our show tomorrow, which you're going to be promoting on Facebook. So I want you all to tune in. What do we got?
So I'm trying to pull up the. Well, let's see here. Hold on.
Let me start here with number one pick. It's probably going to be Mendoza from Indiana to the Raiders in Vegas. I barring any unforeseen insane thing happening, I think that's a pretty solid pick there. He's going to be an impact player for that team, and they need it badly. I mean, they need a quarterback so bad. He had a great year, a great champion. So I'm looking for him to make an immediate difference to that team at the start of the season.
Well, there's been also some things that have transpired before we get into the thing of the draft. The New York Giants traded away Dexter Lawrence
That's
to
right.
the Cincinnati Bengals for the 10th pick in this year's draft. So the Giants now have the number
2, right?
5 pick, and they
10.
have the number 10
They
pick.
get two picks in
So
the top 10.
that will affect Washington greatly because that changes New York's draft strategy. They are slated in many mock drafts to select Arvell Reese of Ohio State. And there's also been some developments in these. Now, the number 2 pick in the draft with the New York Jets, there's more consensus that they will go for David Bailey of Texas Tech.
Okay, so you're talking David Bailey, another edge rusher, versus Reese, right? Reese is the other edge rusher.
I think the New York Giants
and you think
absolutely love David Bailey, and this is where they're going.
You think they're going to go with Bailey?
Correct.
The Giants.
No. We're talking number 2 pick.
The
New York
Jets. The Jets
talking
are going to
about
go with Bailey.
We're going back now to the draft order.
So you're thinking the Jets are going to go with Bailey instead of Reese?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what all the consensus is with all these so-called experts on ESPN and Fox Sports, CBS Sports. But so I have to agree because it's just what everybody's saying. So I agree with that. Now, another instance in this draft is this draft could go very simple. Everyone stays put. Everybody picks who they pick. But now at number 3, this is one of my top candidates to trade down.
That's the Cardinals.
The Cardinals have the number 3 pick. And here's my thought process behind this. Now, there is a consensus, a strong feeling that the Arizona Cardinals are going to draft Jeremiah Love. Now, here's the problem I have with that. How do you get, and I'm going to analogize this as Jeremiah as an airplane, a luxury airliner with no pilot to drive it.
Interesting.
The Arizona Cardinals are in a situation where their offensive line is absolutely in chaos.
Shambles.
So why would you get something that you're not going to have to the ability to run block, the ability to allow Jeremiah Love to do the things that he can do?
Look, they need an offensive line.
Well, they need lots of things. The offensive line is just one of many things that the Arizona Cardinals need. So this, to me, is a classic trade down. Now, whoever moves up, I don't think that they want Jeremiah Love, but I was thinking the Kansas City Chiefs, Dallas Cowboys.
Let's talk to the Chiefs moving on.
The Dallas Cowboys, the Kansas City Chiefs. The Detroit Lions are another team that wanted to move up.
Let's talk about. Let's say Kansas City does move up to 3. How does that affect the Redskins Commanders?
Well, if Kansas City moves up to number 3, I think Kansas City right now wants an edge rusher, so that would be Arvell Reese. I think they're not going to go for a wide receiver because they also have things that they need, but I think what they would do is draft Arvell Reese, which then leads Jeremiah Love to the number 4 Tennessee Titans. Now, the Tennessee Titans, I think, are another candidate to move back. They're another team that needs a lot. But if they were going to draft Jeremiah Love, this makes the most sense. Their offensive line is sturdy, and you pair him up with Cam Ward, a dynamic rookie quarterback, and now a dynamic rookie running back. That makes sense. But Tennessee couldn't stop anybody, and I think with their coach, who is a descendant of the New England Patriots dynasty,
Coaching tree.
the coaching tree, I think they're going to go defense. So again, that leaves Jeremiah Love for the New York Giants. And this is where it gets interesting because people believe that Arvell Reese will go here. Now, this is not if Kansas City doesn't trade. They're believing that Arvell Reese will be available at this point in the draft.
Now that makes sense because they just traded away.
Dexter Lawrence was a defensive tackle.
They traded away him to the
Arvell Reese is an
Cincinnati.
edge rusher, and he is
Right.
not a defensive tackle.
Right.
So this doesn't make sense to me because you already have Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, and Abdul Carter. You have your pass rush. Another pass rush edge without interior defensive linemen doesn't make sense to me. Dexter Lawrence was a cog for them. He had a down season last year. I don't blame him. Frustration over contract for 2 years and feeling undervalued and your mind kind of whatever, which isn't healthy. But I really do believe the New York Giants are going to go in another direction. I don't think Arvell Reese is going to go here. I really don't. But again, if the draft just goes with no teams trading up or down, this could be their pick.
Now, well, what about Carnell Tate? Some people have him going to the Giants.
Well, that's actually great because that gives them a number 2 or another number high quality receiver next to Malik Neighbors. And Malik Neighbors was injured last year, so
doesn't that make more sense?
That makes a lot of sense to me to
Right?
support Bo Nix and
Not
Jackson
Bo Nix,
Dart,
Jackson Dart.
and give him another wide receiver to work with. So, and with Scattaboo and Tracy, that rounds out your offense. With Isaiah Likely, that's a potent offense for
It's quite an
Jackson
improvement
Dart.
from last year.
So that's an option too, and I think that makes the most sense. Okay, so then that means Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles have slipped to number 6. And here's another team that I believe really needs a lot offensively. Actually, let me rephrase it. I think the Cleveland Browns are close. But I think if you're going to make them a better team, they need to go for an offensive lineman. And this is where I would think the Cleveland Browns can trade down. I think you can get Spencer Fano So at number 7, I think this is going to happen. Washington, according to what I think with these trade downs, there'll be 2 of the 3 players that they want to draft, which I think is Ohio State's Caleb Downs, Ohio State's Carnell Tate, and the Irish Jeremiah Love. if one of those three talents are available at that position, Washington will pull the trigger.
On Tate, Love, or who was the other?
Caleb Downs.
Caleb Downs.
Um,
But we just talked about Love and Tate, so they may be gone. So the only one available may be Downs.
correct.
Right.
And at that point, is Washington is Downs number 3 on their player list? I don't know. Um, uh, I think, to be honest with you, I think Washington's a classic candidate to move down into the low teens for an extra draft pick in this year's draft, and maybe another pick next year for the trade down. I think Washington would better suited dropping down, and the consensus, I would say,
What is it?
would be Malachi Lemon. Depending
Malachi
upon-
Lemon.
So if I'm thinking the Miami Dolphins, or even if the Kansas City Chiefs couldn't move to number 3 or couldn't move up closer, trading with Washington would be a viable option. And if Washington did that, I believe in around the 10th or 12th, in the low teens, I think Malachi Lemon will be available. He is on some people's draft board the number 2 wide receiver on the board, and even and at number 3, you could go Tate, Malachi Lemon, and the kid from USC. I always forget his name.
I should know it.
We should both know his name, but I always Jordan Tyson.
Jordan Tyson.
Jordan Tyson. Now,
if we get Lemon, right, that would be in terms of balancing out our attack, right? He does have speed, right?
Malachi Lemon is 6'2" and runs
Right.
a 4.3, 4.4 or 4.3 speed, and at 6'2", that's an incredible combination of speed and height. So, and again, at number 10, we have the New York Giants, who may go with Jordan Tyson of Arizona State. Jordan Tyson is dynamic. He reminds of a lot of so-called experts of Amon-Ra St. Brown of Detroit. And
That's an interesting comparison.
that's what they compare him to. Now, he's had injuries throughout his collegiate career, and I think that is the red flag. And I think that's the reason why
He's got a
Jordan
lot to live up to.
Tyson
He's got a lot to
is
live up
not
to.
getting picked
Yeah.
higher because of the injury history. But I think the 3 best receivers, and this is a very heavy receiving draft. There are at least a few months ago, I was hearing some of these prognosticators like Field Yates and Mel Kiper, which I can't stand. I think he's an idiot. How deep this draft is for wide receivers. They believed at the time, if I remember the number, they thought there were 30 wide receivers
That many.
that are capable of
Wow.
making an impact and being a number 1 wide receiver. Or maybe it was 23, but it was a large number. And you can
that's
trade
a lot.
down,
That's a lot.
and you could still get a really quality wide receiver. So Washington, being that they do not have a 3rd round draft pick, no, they don't have a 2nd round draft pick. I think Washington would be better suited to trade down, still
And-
get someone who they have on their
For the
radar,
second round.
and to get more picks.
Yeah, for the second.
So that's where we stand right now. We will be on Facebook.
That's right. I told you earlier, we're
At
going to
about-
promo the show on Facebook Live for at least 10 to 15 minutes before the start of our show. So tune in.
Yeah, so we'll be doing a Facebook Live promoting our big draft night show, which is tomorrow night at 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Tune in.
Again, this draft, to me, I believe the only sure thing, as I sit here right now, and as Henry has stated on many occasions, the only sure thing right now is Mendoza at number 1 to the Raiders.
Yeah.
And number 2, okay, maybe the Jets may want to stay, but from pick number 3 through pick number 7, each one of those teams wouldn't hurt if they traded down.
That's right.
It wouldn't hurt. All of them could use a plethora of more players. And like the Arizona Cardinals could really use a lot of players. So they really would be my candidate to move down for some extra
But
draft
listen,
picks.
this is exciting. So tune in tomorrow. It's going to be wild. We don't know what's going to happen, but like Robert said, the only sure thing, if there is a sure thing, is Mendoza at 1 with the Raiders. After that, I think all bets are off. Who knows what's going to happen?
And as a Redskins Washington Commander fan, I want them to trade down, to be honest with you. With all the linebackers that we've signed over free agency, I think we're fine there. But then there's the argument, what if Sonny Styles is the next Bobby Wagner?
I don't know.
You cannot give up Bobby Wagner in his prime. That a lot of people think that of him and Arvell Reese. And as a matter of fact, a lot of prognosticators love Arvell Reese's. They think he's farther advanced than Sonny Styles. So
That's why I think he's going to go higher than people are predicting, in my opinion.
but there will be some players that are surprisingly dropped, like Bain from Miami. The thing of his short arms continues to be a sticking point. I never understood short arms, long arms. All I knew was integrity and hustle. And if a player is good, he could have nubs for feet. I could care less. So I think players will be available
We'll see.
at 12 because there will be some surprises.
We will see.
Namely Dyson, and to see what happens. Stay tuned. It's going to be exciting. I'm excited.
I'm excited.
It's the draft, and
There's nothing like it, folks.
It's a lot of fun. So we'll see you guys tomorrow live on YouTube, and we will see you live
For
on
our
Facebook
big
for our big
sports
draft show.
Big. Thank you.
Well, that was fun.